You have just seen how to run queries using Kibana's console tool. That's the easiest way of running queries, because it helps us in a number of ways. It formats the response so that it's easy to read, and it handles some things for us under the hood, such as setting the correct content type header. You'll see that in just a moment. Apart from that, it also provides auto-completion when typing out queries. This is very convenient because sometimes it can be hard to remember all of the different queries that Elasticsearch provides. These are the reasons why we'll be using the console tool throughout the course, but I do want to show you how to run queries with cURL as well, just in case you prefer to do that. You can use other HTTP clients as well, such as Postman, but I won't cover them in this course. I have prepared two simple queries in advance. You've seen the first one before, while the second one is new. So what are we doing within Kibana's console tool if we're going to be using cURL? We are here because the console tool provides a very handy feature that lets us copy a request as a cURL command. We can do that by highlighting a query and then click the wrench icon and then select Copy as cURL. Having copied the selected query as cURL, let's turn to the terminal to see what it looks like. As you can see, the resulting cURL command is quite simple. It specifies get as the HTTP verb. That could be left out, since this is the default HTTP verb used if none is specified. We can also see that the endpoint of our Elasticsearch cluster has been prepended to the request path that we specified within Kibana. Let's run the command and verify that it works. Indeed, we get a JSON object back containing the same information as we saw within Kibana in the previous lecture. While copying that query was convenient, it didn't save us from that much typing. Let's head back to Kibana and copy the second query. The second query is just the simplest possible search query. Don't worry about what it does, since we'll get back to that later in the course. So let's just copy the request as cURL. This time, a request body is added for us, being the JSON object that was specified within Kibana. An important thing to know is that when including a request body, a content type header must be specified. While YAML and other formats are supported, both within requests and query results, we'll be using JSON throughout this course. So when supplying JSON within the request body, we must set the header to application/JSON, or Elasticsearch will refuse the request. As you can see, we did save a bit more typing in this example. So let's run the command. Of course, you don't have to copy commands from the console tool. You can just as well write them out by hand if you want to. Copying from the console tool is purely a matter of convenience for easily writing out the queries. If you intend to use any other HTTP client, then remember to specify the correct HTTP verb along with the content type header when adding a request body. If you're using Elastic Cloud, then the command looks slightly different. Let's take a look. The first thing we need to do is to grab the endpoint of our Elasticsearch cluster, which we can do at the deployment page within the Elastic Cloud interface. Simply click to copy the URL. Let's head back to the terminal and replace the local endpoint with the one we just copied. So let's replace this first part with the copied endpoint, like so. And let's try to send a request. As you can see, we do get a response back, but not the results for the search request. Instead, we get an error stating that we need to authenticate. That's because we didn't send any credentials along with the request. The way we do that is by using HTTP basic authentication. You can add the appropriate HTTP header manually with cURL or any other HTTP client, but cURL has a convenient shortcut for this, namely the U option. Let's add it to the command. So I'll add it after the HTTP verb. so -u. Here we need to enter the username and password for Elastic Cloud, separated by a colon. So the username is elastic, and then a colon, and then I'll just paste in my password. Like so. That's it. Let's send the request again and verify that it works. Indeed, we now get search results back, so the authentication worked. And that's how you can send search requests to Elasticsearch with the cURL HTTP client.